Hey YouTube, my name is Amy North, and today I want to talk about specific conversations that ruin new relationships. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a relationship coach from the West Coast of Canada, and over the last few years, I've been working with women around the world to improve their love lives. Today I want to take it from the top and talk about 3 topics that end relationships before they even have the chance to blossom. In other words, topics that kill your chances of going the distance with a new partner. Now, you may be asking yourself why it is that I'm stressing new relationships in early days. And that's because unlike couples who have been together for a while and know one another well, certain topics can drive away a new love interest because you haven't gotten the chance to know you well enough just yet. You'll understand what I mean better in a moment. Now, before I jump into this, I'd like to quickly ask that if you enjoy what you learn here today, then please take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel. There you'll be able to check out more of my dating advice videos, and I'd really appreciate the support. So please keep that in mind while watching this video. All right, let's get started. So the first conversation that can ruin a new relationship is one that goes something like this. You and your guy are chatting and he mentions a female he knows, be it a friend, colleague, whoever. But instead of listening to his story, you start asking who this woman is and question their relationship. Has he hooked up with her? Is he attracted to her? The works. Unfortunately, this feeling of worrying comes on so strongly that you end up asking him these questions. The problem here is twofold. If he says yes, then you were never going to want him to be around her, regardless of how long ago their rendezvous happened. If he says no, well, you're probably going to question it still, and may even convince yourself that he's lying to avoid getting you jealous. Not to mention how insecure you'll look and how awkward that conversation may be. So really, this conversation is a lose-lose, and if it gets out of hand, well, I hate to say it, but you can kiss your relationship goodbye. Instead of letting these thoughts get the best of you, realize that what's in the past is in the past. It can't be changed or undone, so don't let it ruin what you have presently. The second kind of conversation to avoid early in a relationship is one about wanting kids. Sure, there's an innocent way to go about this, but telling the guy you're seeing that you want to have children by a certain age or deadline can be a deal breaker. Not to mention the pressure it puts on him if that end date is near. Instead of telling him your big picture plans, if the topic comes up, simply say, yeah, that's something I can see myself wanting down the road, or it's a possibility. Really, you don't have to tell him a yes or no at all right now. Instead, keep it vague and roll with it. The point is to avoid seeming baby crazy. Why? Because it could send him running, or even make him question how far you're willing to go to make that dream happen. At the same time, if he brings it up and shares all his thoughts and plans regarding children, then feel free to get on board and tell him honestly your feelings towards having kids. That said, just be sure not to say anything that is going to make him uncomfortable. The same rule can be applied for discussing marriage early on in the relationship. All right, now my third and final conversation to avoid in the beginning of a relationship is the dreaded "my ex" conversation. While it may seem easier to talk about your dating history early on in the relationship before you become too emotionally involved with one another, talking about your ex at the start of a new relationship is rarely a good thing. Again, there's a lose-lose here. For instance, you either speak of your ex in a high regard and your new man may think that you're not over your ex, or you bash them, say how much of a loser he was, and blame him for your demise, and again, he thinks you're not over him, or he worries that you'll speak poorly of him down the road too. To avoid this from happening, don't bring up exes. If for some reason they do come up, keep your comments short and sweet. Don't make it seem like your past relationships were a huge deal, and when possible, change the subject. If your new man does ask what happened with your last relationship or why it didn't last, simply say that you wanted different things or that you outgrew one another. No further details, not yet anyways. Well, that just about does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about what I've covered here, then please post those in the comments below, along with any other topics you think should be avoided early on in a relationship. As always, thanks so much for watching, and if you'd like to check out more of my dating advice videos, then just hit the subscribe button below. Until next time, take care and good luck.